a relatively drama-free early signing day. And I'll tell you what I mean by that relatively as well. We'll go over who Ole Miss signed, and hey, you never can tell. Maybe if we're lucky, something will happen outside of signing day. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening, Ole Miss fans. I'm Stephen Willis. I'm the host of the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, and we're going to talk and do a little bit of a chat and react a little bit to an early signing day that honestly is probably the best signing day that Ole Miss has had since 2016. Probably is the last time that Ole Miss got in that stratosphere. Not a big class, but a very sturdy class, and is very need-filling class. And you have players that like Cameron Beavers and, William Echoles and Kamarion Franklin and Jeffrey Rush, those stars, those anchors of the defensive line. Ole Miss was able to get commitments from them and just kind of hold them. Wasn't that much drama. That wasn't that much stuff going on. They were just able to hold those commitments. You get the A.J. Maddox, who was the quarterback that Ole Miss ended up taking. For the longest time, we thought it was going to be the kid in Arizona, and then they committed the one in Orlando. And all of a sudden, right at signing day, is the kid from Oak Grove, Mississippi, A.J. Maddox, getting signed as well. I'm pretty excited about those positions. Wide receiver, I think there's a level of super athlete that is being recruited in this class that is flying a little bit under the radar. We'll talk about that a little bit. And the JUCOs, I don't know if the JUCOs get their normal feel, kind of what's going on. Anyway, in the chat, if you want to, please put the location that you are talking from, and we'll take your comments in a little bit. I'll let it fill up just a bit. But let's start with the JUCO selections. You have Deion Smith, who is the only JUCO that is not a mid-year. That's kind of important to realize. That's not a mid-year. That means that maybe he isn't as far along towards graduation as he should be. But if they signed him, that means there's a path to get where he needs to be. That makes sense. Deion Smith has a chance to be a really good football player. And when he steps on Ole Miss's campus, he immediately becomes one of the best wide receivers in the Southeastern Conference. But since he has to go back to school and he's not a mid-year, that kind of lets you realize what Juice Wells is all about as well. Marquise Willis, a great last name. I think he has a chance to be a star just on his last name alone. But played at Kahoma, kind of a lower tier throwing program. He was a playmaker. He's a guy that might show up at during the season next season and show out to the point where we're like, man, who's this dude? But I'd definitely pay attention to Marquise Willis. Nareel White, we'll talk about Nareel in just a second because I do have some thoughts about him. Nothing negative or anything like that. But Raymond Collins, the number one linebacker in JUCO, he is going to enroll in school early. Same goes for Cedric Beavers as well. Ole Miss signed 2 Beavers in this one class. That's kind of odd to me. So the other wide receiver that I want to talk about is Nareel White. And Nareel has had some fun on social media over the last week. And he rightfully probably ticked some people off, whatever. At the end of the day, he signed with Ole Miss. It's all done. Bygones be bygones type situation. But I don't know where the drama came from with Nareel White. Nareel White did his thing on social media 2 or 3 days ago and it stopped. And he actually literally told Zach Berry and David Johnson and all that, it is done. Well, I'm going to Ole Miss. I'm committed to Ole Miss. And they reported that he was committed to Ole Miss. And then today, God bless today, there's a crystal ball dropped from an Ole Miss writer for him flipping from Ole Miss to Arkansas, of all places. And I knew drama was going to go. I did a video about it this morning. Like, this is one of the places where I think drama could happen. But whenever you think back to what actually went on, I don't know if the drama was real or the drama was imagined or the drama was made up. One of those things happened, and we're never going to figure out what's happening there. Defensive line, best defensive line class in the country, in my opinion. These wide receivers are going to be very good as well. Super athletes. Nareel White is a super athlete. He is a guy that Elijah Moore like. Super athlete. Katraverick Banks from Louisiana. He's a small school player out of Louisiana. 6'3", super athlete. I think Anthony Robinson is a super athlete. Andy Jaffe is a super athlete. The back end of the Ole Miss defense got more athletic in today's signing class. I think everybody should keep an eye on what's going on with that. Probably 2 or 3 of these players are going to play next year. I don't know which 3 they're going to be, but usually 3 or 4, 2 or 3 end up seeing the field in a particular year, and it should be interesting. Cam Clark, by the way, I keep forgetting about Cam Clark on the defensive line. He made it all the way to the end of this class, and good for him. Even when Ole Miss was, I don't want to say processing, but they just realized that their signing class was going to go up, 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 and they started to make room for them. Cam Clark didn't get moved. But William Echoles, Kamarion Franklin, Jeffrey Rush, and Cameron Beavers, those are the highlights of this class, obviously with Deion Smith, the number 1 player in all of JUCO. Really, really good football players. Like I said, I told you about A.J. Maddox. Shamar Darden, by the way, I'll talk about him real quick. Shamar Darden is the person in this class that has Mike Hilton potential. There's a lot of Mike Hilton in the way he plays football. I'm not saying he's going to be Mike Hilton. I'm just saying that that's on his, his timeline potentially. Whichever one he's going to take, that one is on his timeline. Jude Foster, Kavion Broussard, 2 Louisiana offensive linemen. John Wayne Oliver from CPA. That's 3 offensive linemen they took as well. 2 JUCO wide receivers, 1 high school wide receiver. Oh, Dylan Hipp, the tight end from Arizona. That is a big pickup as well. I like this class. This is a balanced, good football class. And with the transfer portal adding to it, it is really going to take off. That is my thoughts going with that. Let's go through the chat for a little bit. This is going to be a shorter than usual chat session, so we're just going to talk back and forth. But today's been a long day, and I still have another live stream with SEC After Dark at 9 o'clock to where I'm going to talk about a lot of the same stuff again. So check out SEC After Dark as well. I'll be on there. So Tampa Zeke says, "Let's go Rebels." You almost sound like the first down Ole Miss. So yeah, very good. Christopher Scott, thank you for your consistent content. You're appreciated, brother. Thank you very much, Christopher, for watching my consistent content. It's fun to do this stuff. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun. Facebook says, if you're commenting on Facebook, by the way, tag it at the end with your name because it just comes up as Facebook user. It's a great time to be a Rebel, hotty toddy. I'm wondering when Nolan will make his announcement. Love the show, by the way. Nolan is probably going to make the announcement at the moment that he feels is going to get the most benefit. I am not ruling out a Christmas morning edit drop from Walter Nolan. I am not ruling that out at all. And you know what? If he drops it on Christmas morning and I can, we're going to be in here instant overreacting. That is the role I'm going to play. I'm going to instant overreact whenever he does it, unless it's Friday night. Friday night is going to be Tim Thomas's night, and he's going to be talking about Ole Miss basketball. He got bumped last Friday. I'm not bumping him again. But Walter Nolan, if and when he is ready to go, I'm ready to overreact. Tanner Dodson says, HYDR. Thank you, Tanner. James Mendoza is watching from Tupelo. Tanner Dodson full fins up. Facebook user is from Walnut, Mississippi. Carlos Fulton's from Dallas, Texas. Very good. All right, Carlos. Gary Rasco, love your show, man. Thank you very much, Gary. Thank you for watching. Tampa Zeke, Hottie Toddy from Tampa, Florida. Tampa is my favorite city in America. And you can ask my wife about that, the voice of God who moderates these chats. You can ask her how I feel about Tampa, Florida. My wife probably doesn't feel the same way about Tampa, Florida. I love Tampa, Florida. I'm over there all the time. Tanner Dodson's watching from Crystal Springs, Mississippi. Clarksdale, Mississippi, and Let's Go Rebel from a Facebook user. Steve Gay, the Sharks are circling from Hernando, Mississippi. One of these days, I'm going to tell you my Hernando story, by the way. It is not a good one. Leroy Labella, excited about next season, Greenville, Mississippi. William and Mary, there we go, from New Orleans. Hotty toddy, y'all. Very good. The Tribe, right? Didn't William marry the Tribe? Yeah. William, every day are from Byron, Mississippi. And to answer something you said the other day, the swinging bridge is still here. Thank you very much, William. Jeffrey Langley, I know my brother would have been very happy with this class. Yes, Jeffrey, thank you very much. That's the brother of Ole Miss legend Hoppy Langley, kicked during the Ole Miss Notre Dame game in 1977. That is his brother. Kaylin Dempsey, Hotty Toddy from Birmingham, enemy territory. Alex Hazelwood is Hotty Toddy from Charleston, South Carolina. Jerry Moore from his usual Pascagoula, Mississippi. How you doing, Jerry? Bobby Mann, every day are from South Haven, Mississippi. Hotty Toddy. Alex Hazelwood, this D-line will be absolutely scary in 2024. I'm telling you, this Ole Miss situation right now, and I've said I think it's happening, but Ole Miss is a Walter Nolan commitment with this recruiting class, with the backups they have, from being 12 deep on the defensive line and being the best defensive line in the conference. And if you're the best defensive line in the conference, you're probably the best defensive line in the country. And if Ole Miss has the best wide receivers in the country and they have the best defensive line in the country, you're getting to the point, some pretty heady area whenever you're dealing with that. Jay Young says, can the collective contact a portal recruit during the quiet period? I know the coaches can't have direct in-person contact, but just curious if a representative from the collective can make contact. Collective's not reaching out to anybody. The coaches make first contact with the collective, and then after that, when the kid comes on campus, they meet with the collective. Now, you have an idea probably of where you want to go, is how you want to structure the deal. I might be talking completely out of school out of this, but the collective is not initiating anything. They're not. The player is reaching out to the coaching staff through probably a player that is on this field, because through the all-star games and everything else, contacts made. That's how the player reached out to the coaching staff. Once they get into the portal, the coach reaches out to the player. This is all completely legal and above board. So don't think of anything shady's happened again. And the collective not reaching out until it's time for them to reach out. Usually, I think on Walter Nolan's visit, like we had an idea, or Walter had an idea of what the number would be, but I don't think he sat down with the collective, like really sat down with the collective until the last day of his visit. That's just my opinion on that. Wayne Terrell is watching from Clinton, Mississippi. James Hall from Brookhaven, Mississippi. We had a great signing class today, Hotty Toddy. Probably the best since 2016. And our friends to the south kind of ruined that one as well. Jay Cannon, since we got White today, where do you think Burnside will go? I think Ole Miss has a shot at him. I just genuinely think that Mississippi State's not going to let him leave. They lost a quarterback today to Arkansas State. When you're down like that, you need some sort of good publicity, and I think they're going to overpay for Burnside. But I do think Burnside wants to be in Oxford. Mike Vandegrift says, great day to be a Rebel. Thank you, Mike. Happy holidays, buddy. Shane Lucky, 09. I am an Ole Miss Rebel. Woo! All right. David Gibson, great day. Hotty toddy, retire 49. I think everybody with the last name Willis should have their number retired at Ole Miss. I think that should be a standing order. What are your genuine thoughts on Stampa? I'm hearing the parents are pushing for State. I don't think State's going to allow him to go anywhere but State. This is my genuine thoughts, and this is opinion. It's educated opinion, but it's opinion. Mississippi State cannot risk him being A.J. Brown. I'm not saying he is A.J. Brown. I'm saying they can't risk him being A.J. Brown. And that is what Mississippi State is bidding on in this situation. They're banking on happening. Because if Stampa went to Ole Miss and became an elite wide receiver, they would never live it down. Not once would they live it down. So that right there is going to make them honestly negotiate from a position of weakness. This is good for Stampa Burnside, but you have a chance to be a hometown hero and do all of that stuff as well. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. I do think Burnside wants to be at Ole Miss. I think everybody in State wants, if they just picked a school based off what they wanted, like 9 out of 10 of them would choose Ole Miss just because of where Ole Miss sits in the pecking order as it is right now. But it's interesting. HT from Austin, signing day is always fun, or at least it has been for a few years back now. I go back to Steve Sloan days. Steve Sloan's last game was my first. So technically I go back to Steve Sloan days as well. It's like 3 days on the job, but I go back that far. Jacob Holloway, Christmas morning would be amazing. Not for media members that are covering this. I do not care. I'm going to be here with bells on, probably with a Santa hat, doing a show. And I think Christmas morning would be absolutely amazing, but you would have a whole bunch of people that's just kind of moping and crying a little bit on that one. Who are your 3 impact freshman players? Who are their Ole Miss comps? Okay, let me look at the list right now. I think Kamarion Franklin. I think that his comp is probably Robert Kimdishi would be his comp. William Echoles, which has a little bit of Parade Jerry in him. Like I said, I don't know if they'll hit that, but that would kind of be the comp player defensive, because I think defensive line is where he's going to end up. And I think that Deion Smith and his comp is Laquan. I mean, he's a super athlete playing wide receiver. But Deion Smith needs to do what's necessary to get into school in the summer and all of that stuff as well. I miss the Navy helmet, Navy jersey, and gray pants uniform combo at home every game. The Jungle Wiffle Ball League. That is low-key a fantastic jersey. At least you get it once a year right now as well. The Georgia Tech game, it just looked fantastic. Are we cashing our chips in the portal? I'm worried we depleted the stash. They're going all in this year. The stash is going to be gone after this year. Now it's going to be replenished. We're going to find a way to do that, but they are going to go all in for 2024. When you count in the schedule, the players coming back, everything is aligned for Ole Miss to make a run in this portal cycle. So that's what I think there. Do we know the fan color for the Peach Bowl? It's a red game. Wear red. What a great day for the Rebs today. Fantastic. It's, like I said, it's the best recruiting class Ole Miss has had in 10 years almost. 2016 was the last one, and that one almost immediately got decimated because if everybody remembers, like 2 days before signing day is when Ole Miss got its notice of allegations. So it literally broke up the class almost instantly. It started fracturing as well. Winona, Mississippi, do you think we can beat Georgia next year? Yeah, I think we can. Especially if Walter Nolan comes back. The defensive line and the defense is going to be a completely different animal if Walter Nolan comes on board, if and when Walter Nolan comes on board. Gary Rizard, what do you think about Ole Miss in 2024? Boonville, Mississippi. I think Ole Miss is a legitimate national championship contender for 2024. You have a quarterback that's on the top 10 short list of the Heisman Trophy. You have the best potential running back in college football, the best wide receiver room in college football. At tight end, they're absolutely in phenomenal shape as long as they can stay healthy. And if you take a defense that just comes in and you have this defensive line that goes from being a good defensive line to potentially the best defensive line in college football, mix them with the linebackers behind us, TJ Dudley, Chris Poop-Hall, Suntarin Perkins, those guys on the back end. And then all of a sudden you can see the way they're filling up at safeties and defensive players. They're getting starters from SEC teams to come over to their defense. I think this defense is potentially the top defense in the SEC next season. The way it goes. Walter Nolan's a very key piece. I don't know what he has planned. I'm sure he has planned something. But he's the key from this defense being a great defense to this defense being an elite defense. Basically, Walter Nolan coming in is going to turn Ole Miss's defense into the front that Texas A&M had a year ago. You're going to see Poop-Hall freely running around making plays and TJ Dudley making plays like they can. And that front seven is just going to be nasty, man. Just going to be nasty. John Ward, hotty toddy from Texas. Andre Morris, Navarre, Florida, hotty toddy. Any surprises today from Terry? This is from Rebel Munchkin. No, there was some drama. Like I said, I don't know if the drama was manufactured or if it was real or if it was forced. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter. Every committed player committed. And we're just waiting on Stonka. And honestly, he's probably projected to go to Mississippi State, but Ole Miss is just kind of in on it. So we'll see how that goes as well. Oh, just answered that one. Jerry Moore said, me and my fiance just got confirmed with strep and COVID, but we're watching. Love your show. Jerry, get well, buddy. Strep and COVID, that seems like a good number of antibiotics. Get plenty of rest, enjoy the bowl games, and hopefully it's all gone by the time Christmas gets around. Aside from Nolan, do you think there are others in the portal the staff are prioritizing? I think Damani Jackson is on the list. And if you watched my show earlier in the week, you know exactly why I think that. I think that anybody from USC might be on the table, but like the linebacker from USC did not visit Alabama. He has a weird visit list, so I don't know if he's in the same thing. Defensive end, was it Caleb somebody? I'm not sure exactly where that stands, but I would keep an eye on the two USC guys at the moment, especially Damani Jackson. Caleb Orsman says, what's up, Steven? I am tired. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. I am tired, and I still have another live stream to go after this one. Scorcho Gray, hotty toddy from the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. Was so glad to find out we had internet here so I could track signing day. Normally from Vicksburg, Locked On Ole Miss is going to break through to the top 100. I got to 102 today. 102. It's like they're doing this on purpose at the moment. But yeah, we're going to break through that one. I heard we're just waiting on an announcement from Walter Nolan. Is that true? Yeah, that's the same thing I have. Come on over to Tampa for Gasparilla next month. I'll show you Tampa. It's the best and the craziest. Gasparilla crew life is amazing. The Gasparilla Festival, I love. For those who don't know, like there's a Gasparilla Bowl. The Gasparilla Festival is basically, you have to ask Tampa Zeke about it to confirm, but it's about pirates. It's about pirate ships coming into Tampa Bay. And they have a whole festival about pirate ships, and they have the pirate ship with the sail coming into the bay and things like that. Pretty cool stuff. I'm pretty fired up. Tampa's awesome. Quarterback, top 5. Running back, best in the nation. Wide receiver, best in the nation. Potential D-line, best in the nation. Linebackers, best in the SEC. DBs, top tier SEC. That's what we're looking forward to. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, the talent that has been constructed by Lane Kiffin. Absolutely amazing. And I don't think people realize how deep the defensive line is going to be next year. I don't think people realize that. Because you still have, I think, Jamarius Moore, I think his name, the defensive lineman from Moss Point. He was developing last year too. He's going to get some playing time too. He went in and mop-up time a couple of times and just became a force. So we'll see what happens there. Kenneth Ford, HYDR, what a day from Germantown, Tennessee. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Merry Christmas to you. James McDonald, wish I could attend any home game. Never got to experience it live. It's fun. It's fun. And if you go to the LSU game, that was the last one I went to. The last one I went to was right after my surgery, before I moved down to Florida, because I was fairly close to Oxford. And then after COVID in 2020, I moved down here and things got a whole lot harder. And then I started this and it became nearly impossible. Will has been a Rebel since Dog Brewer. I've never seen a Rebel team like this. The talent is truly unprecedented. This is all our dreams are about to come true. Yeah. I'm with you, buddy. I'm absolutely with you. Travis B, brother Steve, what's up? How you doing, Travis? James McDonald's, good evening from Alabama. Hotty toddy. Fill me in. Any surprises today? AECP2L. No, it was a pretty calm day, honestly. Pretty calm day. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when State lost that quarterback. Yeah, that notification, it just popped up from ESPN that Mississippi State lost a quarterback to Arkansas State. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I get that. Okay. I get that he was probably told to look around because that's the way it works. People from Mississippi State do not pick Arkansas State over Mississippi State. That doesn't happen. You're taking NIL money as a potential, even if you're not getting any, to going over to a place that you're not going to get any ever. But my goodness, that is a horrible notification. Kalen Dempsey, my uncle is Wesley Walls, and he's pumped from this season. Wesley Walls was a heck of a tight end and defensive end. The 1988 Alabama game, I think Wesley Walls went both ways in that game. And I don't know if he was player of the week, offense and defense, but he completely balled out playing both ways. So, yeah, Wesley Walls. I'm a huge fan. The Carolina Panthers had Ole Miss tight ends for like 18, 20 years. It was weird. David Holly said, EVD every day or from Madison, Mississippi, January 23rd, Lakeland, Brass Tap, 5 o'clock. No excuses. Remind me. My memory is terrible. Okay. Remind me. Stay on me. Because I definitely want to do it. So yes, if anybody else is in the Lakeland, Florida area, give me a call. We'll go get a beer. And Wicked Bruce says, I don't think State lost that quarterback, but the real story is worse. He was committed since March. New coach comes in, gets a higher rated recruit to commit and pulls his offer. Just offer for him. Yeah, that's probably the reason it got formatted the way it did. It was a revenge from the kid. Ole Miss is the new D-line U. Well, settle down. We have 1 year at D-line U. We need to put 2 together. Travis B, hang around and catch SEC After Dark tonight, y'all. 8 to 9. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. 8 Central, 9 Eastern. It's on the SEC After Dark YouTube channel. I'll be on there with the Locked On Vandy host, Corey Burton, a Tennessee fan, Jeb Beecham, and Jake Thomas from Tide Talk Live. So just 3 SEC guys just kind of shooting it a little bit. We'll probably talk a little Walter Nolan too, as that. James McDonald, 2 years in the making, this portal class. James McDonald, any word on Judkins as of yet? I think Judkins going to be fine. Him and Dart deserve their moment. And they're kind of doing that at the moment. All right, we need to wrap this up so I can get ready for SEC After Dark as well. Bobby Patrick, so the next step. Defense is looking great. Offense is cooking. Any thoughts about positions we still need to fill? Offensive line. not to start. You're not looking necessarily for starters, but you're looking for people that can contribute. You need to find people at the same level that you have. You just need more bodies at that level. Wesley Walls was there when I was at Ole Miss in the 80s. Hell of a player, legend. Mississippi State fans are salty AF on Twitter. Yes, they are. They are not handling this well right now. I'll try to make that brass tap meetup too. Keep us updated. There we go. Let's do a meetup, David, and just remember that. And whenever we do live streams, because they're going to keep coming even after that, so we'll just meet up and just keep reminding me. My memory is terrible. Remember, I had multiple brain surgeries. Memory is not what it needs to be. Needs to get some Locked On Ole Miss swag. They don't sell any. That's the craziest thing. I had made this myself, and I'm not allowed to sell it. Who are the early names to watch in Mississippi high school recruiting for 2025? McKylan Deere and Caleb Cunningham are probably the two names at the top. And we'll close it out with this one from Tanner Dodson. State is poo. Anyway, so we're going to wrap it up right there at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, SEC After Dark on the SEC After Dark YouTube channel, and we will catch you then. This has always been a lot of fun. I enjoy doing live streams. Thank you for tuning in very much, and we will talk to you later. Take care. Hotty toddy.